Well, hello out there, free enterprise fans. We have another match for you, this time from the Silja group. We've got dustygriff and Revenant, and both our competitors tonight are 2-0. So it's a fight for the 3-0. Who's gonna take it? It's not me, because I'm not competing. I'm dijonketchup, and I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined here by my other host, Poidrac.
Hello! You may remember me from yesterday, but that's a completely different day. Today, I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen more of this. Two 2-0s going up against each other for all the marbles of getting into the table phrase. Yeah, uh, this should be a banger today.
So, we've got some objectives here. These are
Yeah,
some these are some objectives.
yeah. Launch the Falcon, defeat the bosses of the Baronin, complete Mount Ordeals. And obvious the normal forge the legend and sword with the adamant. This could be quick, depending on three things. Number one, where is the hook? Number two, where is the legend sword and the adamant? And number three, where is their way to Zeromus? If any of those three are buried, this might be a little bit longer than people expect.
Not to mention that certain bosses at certain points of Mount Ordeals can be something.
Yeah. With a cane, though, you're pretty confident in your in your staying power. He isn't the best early game. He really ramps up more for the late game, but he's still find a little bit of equipment. He's definitely going to do work for you. Especially on some of the ruder bosses. Wyvern, if you find a Dragoon Spear. Valvalis is with the ability to jump to take her out of her spin, and a few others.
Yeah, Valvalis is normally really bad if you get her on that back attack spot, but obviously with Kane.
But we are underway. Kane and Teller. So grind possibilities are there, and a tower key. Tower key is interesting, but I don't think it might not even come into play today.
Yeah, unless for whatever reason the only way to the moon or to Zeromus is through the tower key.
Yeah. We there was always the Magna route that people are going to see and pretty much hope for today, because the hook is part of one of the objectives with Launch the Falcon. I think our crowd out there is going to be wanting to see it a little bit more buried than normal.
So, both our runners going different places to start with. Revenant going to check who's in the Baron Inn.
This is a fairly good play. Oh, Miss Dragon. Okay. There's a bonus round. Checking to see who you've got to deal with to start off for one of those objectives is a very nice idea. dustygriff is going for density of equipment and build up that cane. And a black belt is definitely nice to see for them.
Yep. So if you were hoping for passage to Zeromus being hidden behind a nasty demist, sorry.
Yeah, definitely very quickly found, but sometimes it's there, but not necessarily that demist is going to have what you want behind it. It might just be a item such as a heroine robe, which, apart from that poor room, isn't really that great right now.
Dustygriff and Revenant both getting Yangs, but from different sources.
Young at this moment in time doesn't really play a good part. He's very, very weak in the early game. He needs a whole lot of strength, which he just doesn't receive. So at the moment, we're still relying on this cane to actually do the heavy lifting. And at the moment, they haven't really found any equipment to do that with. A black belt is nice, but it's not the ideal just to have that.
Right.
Artemis bow, that's actually fairly nice to see if we can find someone who can use it. We've got that Porum who wouldn't be bad to have it equipped, but you'd rather want to see someone else, such as a Sid or a Rosa, to utilize that a lot better.
Yeah, if they go back for, if they can get a Rosa, that would be real good for your white mage throughout the game, especially with the Artemis arrow.
Yeah, Revenant has gone a little bit more deeper in and found not only a Blizzard Spear, but also a Power Sash in the Watery Pass, something that dustygriff didn't go in far enough to find. So that's going to really bump up the power of that cane and should make easy work of the first couple of bosses here in Antlion and possibly on Mount Hobbs as well.
Dustygriff went to peek who was in the bed, but he went so fast I didn't quite see who it was.
I didn't even see it. We may get a reprisal from Revenant though.
Yeah, Revenant is in Kaipo.
Meanwhile, dustygriff is going to see if he can fill out his team a little bit more. There's a Porum, so there's another source of white magic. And
So we're half of vanilla here.
Cecil is a question. Always the question to be asked in this. Do you take him because he is the basis of all agility in your team? Dustygriff has said no. I'm happy with what I've got. Problem is, Cecil can have a whole lot of power if you find decent gear for him. It's just, is it right to take him? I'm actually with dustygriff. I don't think it is, but we may be proved wrong with some of the early checks. There might be an Excalibur or Crystal Sword show up.
Not to mention that Mount Ordeals is almost certainly required.
Yeah, Mount Ordeals is a requirement. That's I feel that's more for Teller to get him online, so grind options become available.
Yeah, for sure.
But dustygriff is going straight to Ordeals. Nothing else in play, just straight to Ordeals. Is he going up here to power up Teller immediately?
He might be checking the character, which is a Sid.
That's a good source of early game damage. He may having that Artemis bow. I believe he picked that up if he went far enough. Yep. Not completely certain. That is a very nice source of early game damage for your team.
Yep, he grabbed the Sid and left.
Yeah, I feel he's going to be heading off to do some boss checks now. Revenant is going up Mount Hobbs. Got a whole lot more power with his cane at the moment, and not a great greatest amount, but still a fair amount.
Yang on the wrong side on Mount Hobbs.
Nothing too dangerous here. He'll punch, he'll kick, he'll do not much else. With Kane doing a fair amount of damage, and roll Porum. Don't anger the little Mysidian girl.
Never underestimate Porum.
So Revenant has picked up his white mage. So we've seen 3 Porums so far. I don't think we're going to get more than one of them. I think we're going to have 3 fighters and 3 fighters, a Porum and a Teller, with a big grind happening to get them up to speed.
Officer soldier fight at Antlion on dustygriff's side. Pretty free fight, no matter where you end up finding it. Typically you want to find it somewhere that's a less easy spot, but...
I think dustygriff isn't minding seeing it here because it hasn't got a whole lot of equipment for his team. He's more happy to see a boss to get him started, especially with a required item behind it.
So this could be a jet seed, depending on how you're able to get to Zeromus.
Yeah, Zeromus is the big question now. Pass, Darkness Crystal, and grind possibilities. Darkness Crystal is the most obvious choice as a grind option because you do have the D machines. But depends on how they wanted to play it out. They might want to get underground and check for sirens first.
Dustygriff wasting no time going to that hook route.
Yeah, probably feels quite underpowered still in terms of his team. I'm going to checkmate the character. If it's an edge, that solves most of his problems. If it's someone a little less powerful, such as another Yang, he might feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, and dustygriff already knows where star veils are. If he could find, vampires in Cure 3, he could go for the low level strat against Zeromus. Both of them could, considering how fast this seed is going.
There's a second Cecil for the seed. He didn't take the first one, so I doubt he's going to take this second one. But that still leaves him with very little in terms of power apart from that Sid to finish the overworld with. While Revenant, I feel, is just going to accelerate at this moment in time, having a fairly well geared up Cane as well as a Porum that can deal some damage.
Revenant taking the time to check more shops, it looks like.
Not a bad way to go around it. You'd still do want a few life potions and maybe a few other little things, those star veils, cure 2s. Also, the weapon shops, because it is S standard, do actually have some fairly decent equipment to be sold in the overworld. Nothing amazing, but it's still fairly decent. And there's the monsters for dustygriff. Now he knows where they are, he'll be happy to loot everything on the way out. The shop up in Cave Reblana is a gated shop, so he's going to find some fairly decent items. He might find sirens, he might find coffins, hourglasses, all of which are going to be nice. Most importantly, I think he'll want to find Barkus wines.
And Revenant found cabins, which will be useful.
Cabins are the strange things in these seeds. You don't always find them in the shop, and when you do, you want them. but when you don't find them, you always tend to struggle with it if anything happens on the moon. So being able to find cabins is definitely a good sign for him.
And dustygriff stocked up on some mute arrows. And stocking up on hourglass too.
Yeah, and a few heal potions. Heal potions I find are actually fairly undervalued at the moment. There's not a whole lot of use for them, but you definitely don't mind having at least 10 if you find a Valvalis somewhere who is pretty speedy and you're getting hit by those petrifies fairly quickly.
Revenant making his way up to the character check in Ordeals. We'll see if he turns around or not.
I don't think he is. He might take. Yeah, he's going to take one of these youngs away for Sid. Sid is, although he's more early game, and you might want to be gearing a bit more to the late game now, at least to get started. Sid is still definitely going to get you through this a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and right now, Revenant had 2 Yangs, but not even enough equipment for, one.
Yeah. Well, he did pick up a couple of poison claws, but you really still only want the one Unyang for that. There's a black belt and a power sash. Those are more likely better suited for Sid and Kane at the moment, though. Dustygriff does have an Ogre axe there. He's given it to Sid. That makes a bit of sense, actually.
Revenant finding the Mega Sisters at the first spot on the bridge shouldn't be a difficult fight.
No, it shouldn't be. Artemis Bow Sid is definitely going to do some work here. I did notice that Dustygriff has not got that Artemis Bow. He didn't actually go in far enough to pick that up. So he is a little bit behind on that. He does have a mutant knife, but outside of anyone else having it, it's not really great. It would be better suited on someone on one of your black mage casters or a edge rather than a cane at this lower level.
And Revenant taking out the sisters. About to see who's in the back attack slot.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Hello.
Well, we
Well,
it couldn't be that free of a seed.
It couldn't have been. I mean, there had to be a caveat somewhere. And Golbez in the back attack spot, although, yes, it's the back attack spot, you don't really mind this, to be perfectly honest. The reason being, the jump doesn't happen as much. You're not... the back attack part only really affects the initial start of the fight. Afterwards, everything is fine here. And the ATB clicks as normal. So with a Sid that's immune to paralysis, that Star Veil's going up, and this Golbez is pretty much done for.
Yeah, Dustygriff decided he didn't like how that was going to go for him, though. Looks like he's changing his equipment.
Yeah. The other thing he doesn't have is, I don't believe he has that crystal ring either, so he isn't immune to that paralysis. So, and he's got all 5 characters up, so he's going to have to sit through 3 chomps, while Revenant only had to go through 2.
Revenant easily taking out Golbez. Only Sid's still standing, but as long as he got through, that's the
Yeah.
real important.
Yeah. Golbez, as in this spot this early, you just want to get through it. You know, oh, yes, you're going to be giving up about 4,000 experience, but that's just a drop in the pool for what is required to get people up to Zeromus levels. You don't mind losing out on that much. Now the big question is dustygriff going to hit the coin toss?
And there's a free package for Revenant.
Well, dustygriff didn't hit the coin toss. Well, did hit the coin toss, but Kane already had that Starvale up. There is no problem for him on this fight now. And King Queen Evelyn.
Yeah, who likes free fights?
Not anyone here. With a combined total of 1,000 hit points, and them not doing any damage really anywhere, this is the worst place you really want to see King Queen Evelyn.
Yeah, definitely want that free spot to go somewhere else, but depending on how fast this seed is going, you may not have to worry about a lot of those problem spots.
Yeah. But Revenant does have his first objective on the board. He has completed Mount Ordeals. Dustygriff will not be too far behind him.
And he has no Cecils, but that Tella's gonna be online.
Yeah. And he still, Revenant still does have the option of that Cecil that is down in the hook route. He may want to pick him up if he finds an Excalibur at the Baron Inn, or maybe for Bull.
Yeah, I can't see him taking that Cecil when he gets there unless he finds some really good equipment. Or if he decides he wants to just keep him dead the whole time for an anchor, but...
Yeah, I can see a couple of things that can really tip the balance of taking that Cecil when down there. Excalibur, Crystal Sword are two of them.
And he knows there's a Cecil in Mysidia, which he reset out of.
So two Cecils, if he finds a cursed ring, that adds a little bit of extra spice to taking two Cecils. There's the other thing that he might consider just taking him for is there's still that Yang that isn't really doing a whole lot right now, and a Cecil with a semi-decent weapon can do better. And Sid, swapping out Sid for a Cecil isn't a bad thing in the end, because we've got to tell her to slingshot anyway. So there's good things to take him, but mostly the bad things at the moment come to mind.
It looks like both our racers heading to Baron Inn.
Revenant already saw this demist here. Going to see that, having already seen it. It knew to prepare for it. One jump from Kane, ready. Dustygriff is seeing it now and going, could be useful.
And there's a Val right behind. Shouldn't be too much of a threat with Kane.
No, even without Kane though, in this spot, this has no. I think it's pretty much no defenses against physical or magical, if I remember correctly. So this spot is not on the hard list at all for a Val to appear. It hits hard, but its defenses are really low. dustygriff, I think, needs to remember that he's put that mute knife on Kane. I don't think he's taken that off yet. There he goes.
There he went.
This is one of the spots that, because of the way Valvalis works, this is actually a spot where you really want to keep Valvalis in tornado mode, because that halves the amount of hits that you're going to be taking from her. And this spot, like I said, does hit very hard. But it's slow, but it hits hard. So just tempers the damage that can come out and not get an unexpected wipe.
Well, the big reward on Revenant's side is a Masamune, which would go great with that edge he doesn't have.
Yeah, the most important thing though is the objective has been completed.
Yeah.
So both of our runners are now 2 up. Just the hook route, they both have that hook ready to go down. Will they go and do football first? Well, actually, will they check demist first? That's actually a good question.
Yeah. Masamune's also free money, so.
Yeah, definitely at this time. There's another Cecil.
Yeah, you check to see what that was first before. Probably not going to bother with that Cecil since he knows where one is and he's going to run into another.
Ribbon from Demist. With Golbez off the table now, that ribbon is pretty much a defensive gear. A minor bit of defensive gear. It's a good bit of defense gear, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing to find there, but also it's not a key item.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if our runners are actually not wanting to see a magma key still. Although the hook is required, getting down and doing a bit of a grind first before heading to the hook route to just be ready for that, I wouldn't say it would be a bad thing.
dustygriff also gonna check the character. So at this point, they're probably hoping that they can find the pass or the darkness crystal pretty soon.
Yeah. Darkness crystal is probably the best thing to find. And although sirens should be available on somewhere, it's difficult really to say at this point, because this is early go mode. Apart from that one way to Zeromus, you don't really understand how pressurizing this can be until you're in that spot.
dustygriff finding a lunar sparkle at full. Oh, and there's your nope rope.
I think he's fine here. The big waves are going to come out. The Runex on Kane, a jump, and Sid doing fairly okay. I don't think there's going to be too much of an issue. Revenant is skipping for ball and just going down.
Yeah, definitely a decent early game spot to find the nope rope.
Of course, Kane is still doing very little in terms of damage. Really hanging on that Sid at the moment.
But manages to take out the Ogopogo nonetheless.
So is this item going to be a game changer at all?
Yeah, this could... Well, he already dismissed 2 of those Cecils, so...
He still does have the hook one, the package one, but to go through the package just for a Crystal Sword Cecil...
Which is not going to make a very good anchor if you gotta level him up enough to make the best use of it. He could just take the free money.
No, he's going to pick up
he's
that Cecil.
going.
Yeah. Crystal Sword Cecil outweighs Agility Anchor, being the Agility Anchor, in so many ways. The amount of power you can pick up from just that is actually fairly ridiculous. That's how good the Crystal Sword is. If that wasn't Excalibur, I don't think he'd be doing this play. But because it's the Crystal Sword, he's going all in. Plus, he doesn't have a whole lot of extra power in, say, Yarn or Kane at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't really have the best of equipment for his current party. Although we saw a humorous Rydia's mom blowing up the town.
Well, she just had enough of it. There's so many people that forget to pick up the demist item, and she's just lying there waiting for them to turn up, and they never do. She just had enough and said, "You know what? You're not coming in on the right hand side anymore."
Yeah, Inven in chat saying that if they come across Mylon Z, then Cecil's gonna make up, going for the Cecil's gonna make up the time in that alone with the Crystal Sword.
Yeah, we don't know if it is Mylon Z at this moment in time. We haven't seen either of them, so we're at a 50-50 chance. But even without that, there's so many things that Crystal Sword Cecil is going to just tear through.
Oh, they sent the wall after him.
I think the Kaipo Inn needs to check the standards of their hotel rooms.
Yeah,
if the walls are closing in, they've got a problem.
It's fine. That wall was made of paper mache.
Yeah.
It was not a load-bearing wall.
Which is good, so nothing actually falls on top of them. Revenant, without the knowledge of that Crystal Sword, has not picked it up, but still does have the option of 2 Cecils to pick up. He does know where 2 of them are, being the package and Mysidia, if he does go to football later.
Yeah, since he hasn't dismissed the Mysidia one like dustygriff has, he does have the option of grabbing both if he finds the Crystal Sword, and keeping one as an anchor.
You still really want a way to slow that anchor Cecil down, either with it being a Drain Sword or a Cursed Ring or Dwarf Axe, but still wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, finding a Cursed Ring would be great for either of our runners at this point.
Yeah, the other thing they need to do is, are they able to afford it? With all the equipment that they still likely need for, say, Kane. The Curse Ring did get a bump in price in the last patch, up to 25,000, I do believe. It's either 15 or 25,000, so it's not exactly cheap anymore.
Yeah. And both our runners are fighting the Mad Ogre trap chest fight. Revenant using the life glitch. Assuming dustygriff gonna do the same.
I don't see any reason why he won't. Plus, he does have hourglasses. I don't know if Revenant picked them up. It looked like he did because he wasn't taking pretty much any damage from those ogres. So this is a fairly easy source of levels for both our runners.
Indeed.
Definitely the bump start that you want on that Cecil. Should get him around 22 levels, maybe 21 to 22 levels from this. So with a crystal sword, you definitely like that. Yeah, 21 levels, so he's up to level 22.
Yeah. Good old slingshotting.
Which is a little bit, it's a little lower than you would normally be at this point of the game normally in the vanilla version, but it's still a comparable level, and with additional more powerful equipment, this fight shouldn't be too bad to go through.
Yeah, because in the vanilla version, you're not going to have the crystal sword here.
Yeah, you're not going to have the crystal sword, you're not going to have a rune axe on a cane, actually. No, yeah, you won't have a rune axe on a cane, you won't have an Artemis bow on a Cid. That's a spicy King Queen Evelyn fight, though.
Yeah. Antlion is a very, very heavy attacker.
Yeah. Shouldn't be too bad for Revenant compared to dustygriff, because he does have a almost base level teller to anchor, so the speed isn't the agility manipulation is easier for him. Dustygriff on the other side has a Cecil who's just powered up, but is going to be probably as fast as everyone else in terms of agility, so that Antlion is going to go tear through a bit of his team.
Well, Cid at least got some good defense on Revenant's side.
Yeah, the menu didn't even come up and Antlion got 2 hits. Luckily Cecil's in the back row and looks like he's back row glitched, so that shouldn't be a problem yet. Hitting for 34 likely won't hit any more than 100 on that Cecil. He's going to be fine. Revenant, on the other hand, sort of had a bit of an issue in the end.
Yeah. Telecasting Blink on the Cecil.
Yeah, the only thing he has to really worry about is the counter attacks, which will hit for about 250, but even those aren't too bad. Yeah, and there goes Antlion. Yeah. 4-5 swings with Crystal Sword. Dustygriff is now firmly in the lead, in my opinion, and with everything that's going on at the moment.
And not going to go back for a safety save and just go straight into the fight, which, you know, Mylon and friends. Yeah,
this isn't the one you'd want to see, but even so, the Gus aren't going to do too much with their drain attacks. Mylon's magic power here is very, very small, so the Lits are going to do very little to most of the team except maybe Teller. And the punches, even those aren't really that great.
Yeah, and the gas don't do much damage no matter where you find them. Unless you take out Mylon first. Then...
Yeah, then there are spots where you don't really want that to happen, but this one isn't one of them, really. He's just letting the fire bombs, letting the AoE items fly while he focuses a little bit more on Mylon himself.
And there's all the gas that's gone. So it's free game on Mylon.
Revenant's sort of having a few issues with this Antlion. Going through a few of his items here just to see if he can finish this off with the last little bit.
Yeah, trying to avoid those counters. Which, if he's got enough items to finish off the Antlion, it's a decent strategy.
Yeah, the problem is that the Antlion is still going to be very fast here, and although Sid's sort of well geared for defense, those hits aren't exactly light.
Boy, Mylon has a lot more hit points at this slot than I thought he did.
Oh yeah, this spot, the Rubicante spot, has around about 25,000 hit points, I believe. It's between 20,000 and 25,000. Some of that did go to the ghasts, but not a lot. So there's roughly around maybe 18,000 left for Mylon himself.
Well, dustygriff takes care of all 18,000 of those pretty easily. And another one of those Animal Crossing villagers planted a pitfall, so...
Yeah, but that doesn't matter because the most important thing is that he has now done objective number 3. He is about to pick up his crystal, and Revenant is also through that antlion, so he is going to be very close behind. This fight isn't going to be quick to be as quick as dustygriff's because no crystal sword, but it still shouldn't pose too much of a problem.
Right. But he is going to go back for the safety save, which, after the trouble the Antlion gave him, I don't blame him for that.
Yeah, you don't after a fight like Antlion, and if you don't have a good way of sort of just making it work after that, especially not knowing if it's Mylon or Mylon Z, you want to just make sure you're okay.
Well, 40 minutes in, and dustygriff has gotten the crystal. Now it's just kind of a blind search to find his way to Zeromus.
Yeah. The only good thing he's probably got in his mind is that he doesn't have to search the moon. It's now definitely going to be on either in the Underworld or gated by the Underworld, because the Darkness Crystal can't gate itself.
Yep. And once you're on the moon, you don't need to look for the pass.
It wouldn't be a bad thing to see, but I don't think the Darkness Crystal was definitely first and foremost in their mind. The other thing they want to see is sirens, for sure. Yes, we've got a teller, but I still feel that sirens are a better grind under these conditions at this moment in time.
And neither of them has seen an edge, so you can't steal any sirens.
Oh, okay.
Yep, dustygriff finds that cursed ring on the way to the Faye March.
That is Not exactly.
Oh.
Wow. Okay. That's not exactly a game changing because Cecil is Cecil,
Right.
but there's all, and he doesn't have the ability to pick up a second. But when you see an Avenger as well, are you really caring?
Yeah, that Avenger Sword is, it's something that would be useful for his cane.
Go on, sell the Mazamune. You know you don't want it.
Like, where are you gonna find an edge at this hour?
I think that's one of the traps a lot of runners jump in on. Yes, it's an ultimate weapon, but you don't have that character. You've got... Yes, you might find them, but is it going to really make a difference with 3 objectives already completed and a Crystal Sword Cecil? Sell the item.
The King and Queen of Faye March are Mom Bomb and Calbrena, respectively.
Mom Bomb in that spot is going to be fast, hit hard. You don't really want to deal with that at the at dustygriff's stage. The dolls, though, this shouldn't be too bad, especially since he's got an Hourglass 2 to stop the back row ones.
He also swaps out the Crystal Sword for the Avenger.
Well, yeah, that's standard practice, though. If you've got Crystal Avenger, you do Crystal Avenger. That might go on to Kane a little bit later, with Cecil being manually berserked, but Crystal Avenger.
Yeah. Well, the King and Queen are both 6 of a thing. 6 dolls in the Calbrena fight and 6 bombs in the explosion.
That. So basically, the Faye March have 14 rulers.
Yeah.
They might want to check their identity problems.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh, power shirt. That's...
Do you want any more strength for Cecil? If yes, there you go. If no, well, there you go anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a good item, but it's not getting us to the moon. Good question in chat that I don't actually know the answer to, but you might, is does Curse Ring and Power Shirt even out?
I don't believe so. I think Power Shirt is 10, but it might be 15. If it is, yes. But you also have an extra little bit of strength from the Crystal Sword itself. So even with that, you will be getting a net gain if the Power Shirt is 15. Plus, the Avenger itself also has a plus modifier to strength. So, and that does get put into account when you equip it through the glitch, if I remember correctly, because that stat does update.
Good to know. Revenant getting his objective number 2.
He'll definitely be happy that he's got through the Underworld. 47 minutes in, I don't think he's going to feel behind, but we already know how much power dustygriff has accumulated for himself in the last 15 minutes. The gap is not going to close at this moment in time.
Okay, well, Sheila had an Artemis bow.
Nice item. Not a way to the moon.
Also, we had one.
Well, you might want to equip a second one onto Purim as well as the Sid.
Yeah, valid.
Definitely heads up play though with dustygriff though. Checking Sheila 1, not having an item he wants, just resetting back down into the Underworld rather than having to get back, exit for ball, get back in the airship and then wander back down Underworld.
Oh, so far it looks like Revenant passed up both of those cursed rings, unless he got the one in the path to the Faye March and I didn't see it.
I believe he just went straight down and hasn't actually picked up the items in the Faye Marsh as well, so he doesn't have those. Is he going to sell the Masamune though? Do it. Do it. Nah, of course not.
dustygriff taking on Dr. Lugay in the first spot of Dwarf Castle.
Roughly around 2,000 health on both of on pretty much all phases here. The Crystal Sword will deal that very, very handily, and Sid and Kane aren't exactly going to do bad either in this spot.
Yep. And other than the poison being kind of annoying, like the second phase isn't really a huge issue.
Oh, Cecil is not prevented against sleep, so, well...
Revenant did find sirens.
Ah, they're in Tomra. And coffins are in the Faye Marsh, so we do have a good grind on our hands, and I believe that was public relations?
Yeah, public relations manager.
Oh, that dwarf at the back there in the armor shop.
Yeah, that Yang's getting left behind real fast.
Yeah, no one wants to pick up a Yang right now. Edge might be picked up, but even that isn't really going to be because of that at Masamune, but you're not going to really be worrying about your team at this point. You want grind and go.
Plague, not a difficult fight, can be a bit annoying though.
Not in this spot. It's only got 3,000 hit points. Usually at this stage, you've got to. If you can get through the first fight, the second fight is usually academic, unless it's really rude, which usually it isn't.
Revenant coming right up behind to do the Dwarf Castle fights as well.
So what is our items to be found here? Do we have go mode?
We do not.
We have a magma key, but we still got with the warp glitch.
Well, we've got a little late for that one.
Yeah. The only thing that you might want is to open the shop through through forging, but you don't want to see this at this stage. You want to see that darkness crystal or the paths. Since we know sirens are on in Tomra now, you actually really want to see the paths, in my opinion, more. You've got your grind available. The quicker way to Zeromus is the path. Do that. You want to see that.
Although Dusty didn't go to the Tomra shop, so he doesn't know the sirens are there.
Very true.
But as of this point, you've got the Mom Bomb down in the Faye March, and you've got Keyless Tower. Is there anything?
It's not Keyless Tower because
we that's
have
right.
The power key from
we
the
do
very
have
start.
the tower key. I forgot about that.
That Mom Bomb is probably the rudest thing that it could be at this stage.
Yeah.
Even a very well-geared Cecil is going to be hit for a fair amount in that spot. Up here, this is very low attack power, very low magic. Yes, it's Beigen. Beigen can be a bit obnoxious in places. This isn't one of them for Dusty. And the cannon room is one of the lowest hit point spots in the game. That won't be an issue either. Here comes the Avenger.
Yep.
Revenant is through the Dwarf Castle checks. Has caught up a little bit because he didn't do the dolls fight down in the Faye March, but it's not really counting for a whole lot. I think he's more holding his own because of that rather than catching up. That Avenger though is definitely putting in work with Kane having it equipped.
Cecil going for the arms instead of the big guy.
Yeah, the arms can only hold so much though.
Yeah.
Especially since they're snake arms, they can't really hold a whole lot. What are they gonna hold in their mouths?
I don't know. Snakes have pretty strong jaws, I think.
Yeah, but that's only really good for carrying bags. If you're looking to hold something in your arms, it's going to be tight because of all the coils and everything, but are you really... Maybe that's the way you hold things. Just hold them really tight with the coils.
Maybe.
The explodes are coming out though. That's actually a fair amount of damage.
Oh, my internet flickered for like a moment.
Oh, don't worry, that's just Revenant and with poison walking.
Alright, gotcha.
He's going to go and find that crystal sword now. Since he knows where two Cecils are, he doesn't have a cursed ring, and he may go and still pick up both of them, and then just go grind one of them up with the sirens that he found.
Yeah, because there were 2 cursed rings in the Faye March, and he didn't get either. But
he has... since he's got the Sirens, the Teller in his party now, the Sirens and an Avenger, the Teller in his party just really isn't going to be any use, I feel, except maybe a Berserk down the line, but you've got Porum for that. So change out Cecil and either Yang or Sid. Teller and either Yang or Sid for the two Cecils. That might be the way he goes in after this.
Well, dustygriff found Kinatsu in the cannon room, which didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, Cecil does that at this stage of the game. That's the problem we've got in this seed here. The big difference maker is the Crystal Sword. Revenant's only just picked his up. dustygriff made the decision to go to Fabul beforehand. So we're focusing a whole lot on Cecil being the game changer, which he is here, but it's taken away from the utility of some of the other characters, I feel.
dustygriff getting the twin harp out of the tower, so looks like we're going on a chain.
Yeah, avoiding that Mom Bomb, don't blame him. This might be a longer check, but it might actually be shorter because it's Mum Bum at the Leviathan spot.
Yeah. Plus, fan service. We get the music.
Wait, did Revenant just sell the Crystal Sword?
Did he?
He did.
Wow. He, guess he doesn't want to deal with Cecil.
More power to him. More power to him. Yes, I can see his reasoning.
It's less power to him because he sold the Crystal Sword.
Okay, yeah. You've got to respect it, though. Definitely got to respect it.
But if he sold that and kept the Masamune...
Oh. I believe we've lost Dusty slightly.
Oh, I think he's
I think there was
back.
a slight blip in his internet. I think his OBS just has given him a bit of a sort of lull there. So his time is going to be about 10 seconds difference to what we're going to see on the screen at the moment.
Probably closer to like 30. But it'll be fine. I mean, it'll all come out in the end because they'll have the official times. Yeah, the
only thing at the time that matters is what time they put into our race bot system on the Discord, which we will keep you updated when it actually happens and we see it on the screen.
Oh, and speaking of time, it's time for some music.
So yeah, enjoy the tunes. And enjoy them for a while because that's a Gauntlet.
What a great place for an old Gauntlet.
The music is telling you to hurry. that's the last thing that dustygriff can do right now. The good part about it, though, is the spell power that is usually here doesn't get carried over to the Gauntlet because the stats are their vanilla stats. So they're going to see magic can be used against all of them here fairly effectively. Or you could just let Cecil and Kane whirl away on them.
Yeah. Not exactly a threatening alt gauntlet.
Yeah, it's not a threatening fight here. It's just going to take a very long time, and I feel as soon as dustygriff's done, we're going to have a very quick reprisal in this film of Revenant. So you're going to get a lot of hurry.
Getting your money's worth on music.
The Vamp Girl and 6 Cave Bat fights, not something you see normally, and well, he's quick enough that the vampires aren't going to come out from everyone. If there was 7 vampire attacks coming out, that's a very long time. Do you believe this is the last fight for dustygriff, though? So he is through the Gauntlet. The Revenant is just about to start. And wow.
Wow. That was a rage reset right there.
So, Mom Bomb.
Mom Bomb.
Mom Bomb is the way forward. It's the only thing left.
Wow.
You don't want to deal with this. I don't know if Revenant's seen the fights. I believe he has. He may go and do his grind since he's got the sirens before this, or at least a partial one since he doesn't have 10 key items. He may just do a little bit before trying to go further in, but he may just do the whole lot. Just get himself up to Zeromus levels. He knows, he likely knows that the way forward now is through that Mum Bomb after he's done this. So he may just think, right, I've got my grind ready, do that, let's go. Interesting choice by dustygriff. He's put the Drain Sword on Cecil. Is he letting Kane do the damage here? Yeah, ow.
Wow.
Yeah, going Runex into. Wait, do they have 2 Avengers?
Yes.
Where did the second one come from?
It came from... I want to say it was from the top of the tower.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense then. I didn't actually see the item there. I was wondering in what it was, but if it's the second Avenger,
Yeah, chat confirming it was top of tower.
yeah, I think we're good here, but still, that Bomb is going to get through these fairly attack these characters very handedly, and might be difficult to pick up the blinks.
Oh, goodness.
Does have an illusion for Cecil, so that's going to help out. And with Cecil covering the 2 that are actually going to be doing the blinking, this should actually be fairly easy to deal with now. Yeah, everyone's set up. Swapping out the Crystal Sword into the Avenger rather than the Drain Sword into Avenger, which is a good play. So he should be doing a fair amount of damage still. Oh yeah, there you go. This spot is 33,000 hit points normally, but Bomb does have an additional 9,000 or so on top of it. So this is basically a 43 to 45,000 spot. Of course, doesn't count in for the bombs, does it? So we'll go with about the normal 35,000.
The answer is a lot.
Yeah, so but there's a lot of hit points to get through here. I feel he's going to get through the explosion phase, but there's the chance that he won't because he just doesn't have enough now. Since Bomb is really quick here.
Well, Revenant
Oh,
looks
well,
like he's
never mind.
keeping the Bahamut. Oh yeah, didn't even explode. And there it is.
There it is. The Darkness Crystal. So, what does dustygriff do now? He hasn't checked Tomra, he doesn't know the sirens are there. Is he going to go do a D-Machine grind? Since Teller is available, or is he going to check them? He's going to go and check.
And he's loading up on them.
He's got 8 key items. I doubt he's going to go to the moon to find 2 more.
Yeah, probably just gonna go straight into the grind from here.
Yeah. Likely going to go and pick up some more hourglasses from Calbrena. Just to make the gold dragons a little bit easier for him if he does go through the moon. But yeah, about 5 or 6 gold dragon fights. He'll be ready to go and face Zeromus immediately after that.
Meanwhile, Revenant seems to have come to the conclusion that he's gonna have to do at least one of the Faye March bosses.
he's most likely going to be doing the Calbrena dolls first, because that is the easier fight. It's not the correct fight, but it is the easier one to deal with.
And still doesn't loot anything.
The Cursed Ring isn't really as required for him, because he does have that teller, which is still fairly base level.
That is true.
Yes, and if he chooses to go with a Siren Grind on eggs, you don't need to worry about Teller being alive and for those fights.
And dustygriff indeed going back to the shop in the hook route. Still got that masa. There he goes.
No,
No?
not sold yet.
Come on. Are you really going to find an edge?
Is he holding? No, there it goes.
There it. Oh.
Finally. Took him an hour, 13 minutes throughout. Roughly. Well, let's go with about 50 minutes. But that Masamune has finally been sold, which means Edge is going to be on the moon.
Yeah.
Revenant making quick work of these Calbrena dolls, just letting Kane do all the punching. Well, Young's doing the punching. Kane's just swinging away with that Avenger sword. Where's dustygriff? What's he looking for?
Was there something in the... I'm wondering if... Did dustygriff not check here? He may not have checked.
I wonder if he's looking for, say, silk webs.
Yeah.
No, I don't feel it's as required because Teller and Porum can do the job with, while Cecil, Kane, and Sid are swinging. Because you're not really needing to worry about berserking because you've got two Avengers.
Yeah. And it seems like he's searching for something. Couple suggestions in the chat. He might be looking for silk webs.
Yeah, silk webs or life potions are the only things that he might be looking for. Life potions, I think he should have had enough from the starter kit.
I think he bought a bunch.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when he gets to the moon, he'll end up checking the shop there.
Yeah, I feel this is a little bit of a wasting time for him, and because he does have two characters that have the spell slow and Avengers, but sometimes you just want to deal with the just the one counter nuke rather than two. And Revenant got thoroughly beaten up and is going to exit and likely going to grind. And there's the
Bacchus and Silkweb both on the moon. Yep, he was looking for a Silkweb.
Yeah. Still feel it's a little bit of a waste, but You can't fault someone to make for wanting to make the Zeromus fight a little bit less daunting.
Yeah.
So Revenant is going up, going to be facing Bygone, going to just say, let's check the final check I've got before I retry that Mom fight. They're going to be disappointed that it's an Avenger actually, since they've only got one Cane. There's no Cecils available for them now, and no other.
There's a Rosa on the moon. Wonder if he replaces Porum and slingshots her.
Will. Definitely will.
Yep.
That's a no.
Yeah, that's an easy call.
Yeah, there's a no question there. Yes, you're not going to get the same sort of slingshot because there's no tanky items available. But that Rosa is still going to get enough experience in 2 fights to get up to Cure 4.
Yeah.
May actually be double slingshotted because of the non-10 key items. We'll have to see once the fights are done. But there's a good possibility, I think, of there being a double slingshot for Rosa here.
Question in chat. Did Revenant ever find that crystal sword? He did, and then he sold it.
Because sometimes you just don't want to deal with Cecil, even with a crystal sword. Dusty, on the other hand, picked up that crystal sword earlier, picked up the Cecil, and has run away with it, really, since then. Interesting that he's keeping Teller up in the top spot, rather than going for the added accuracy of weak in the middle spot. It's not like Cecil is going to might change the turn order. He may have kept Teller up there because he wants him going second.
Possibly, because he is using weak on the dragons.
Yeah, if he was in the center and Cecil was elsewhere, it would likely be that he goes last. So that may be the reason why he's in the top spot right now. Yes, it's a less accuracy, but it's not as bad as you might think.
Darkness Crystal was behind Mom Bomb in the King of Faye March slot.
A very rude spot to deal with. Something you just don't want to deal with in most cases, but today required as any of our other objectives. And to think, at the very start of this, we saw launch the Falcon, defeat the bosses of Baronin, complete Mount Ordeals. Looked really quick, and we're still going an hour and 21 minutes into this. Feels like we're reaching in the end point with dustygriff, but we've still got to get through the Zeromus fight. We've still got to get through everything.
just got that grind to go.
Revenant is also grinding up. Going to be a little bit slower because without 10 key items, eggs are a little are slower than the option that dustygriff has got now. But he wants to get through that mum bomb fight. With what he's got, this is definitely the right call.
Yeah.
We've already seen how hard Mum Bomb can actually hit there. Just do what you just get your levels. Get your levels. Make it as easy as possible for you. Be interesting to see where he stops with Cecil. I don't think he's going to stop at the 45 mark. He's got a drain sword, so he can go a little bit higher in terms of the actual level threshold here. We've already seen him go from go drain sword to crystal sword to then glitch into the Avenger. I think that might be what he's planning to do in the Zeromus fight. So we could see Cecil being bumped up to, say, level 47, 48, maybe 50. Depending on how far he's wanting to go.
Yeah.
That Rosa, though, is going to make a lot of difference. Only 1,500 hit points at this moment in time. I will have Cure 4, though. Not a whole lot of will increasing gear for her, but she does get a fair amount of stats anyway, so should be okay if nerfs happen into the big bangs. So still there's another siren going. I've got 10 more, or looks like a few hourglasses still in reserve, so this could go on for 2-3 more fights.
Revenant up to the point where he can just take out the eggs with one hit so they don't hatch.
That's always a nice threshold to see. One shot in an egg speeds this along immensely. Especially with an Avenger Cane, you don't even need to do the input. It happens instantly if he's number one spot.
Yeah, you just hit that siren and then...
With Teller down in the center, that number one spot is immediate. There's no real... well, the number 2 spot is immediate. One game tick, Kane comes out swinging, speeds this along very nicely for him, and shouldn't be too much longer before he's happy to go down and face the Mum Bomb fight. Porum is definitely the weak link here, with the amount of hit points that she has. Question is how far is he wanting to go up? Cure 4 with Porum is at level 48. It's a very long way. It's around, I think, 850,000 experience. That's a lot of experience to get at a spell that's really necessary for him.
Yeah, 34,000 per egg. That's a long Oh, sneak attack from the egg.
Well, sometimes the egg just wants to scramble you instead.
Rosa was on the moon.
So Revenant doesn't even have access to her, unfortunately. I don't think he's going to mind when he sees her up there. Porum is still a very capable white mage, if a little bit longer to get online.
Looks like dustygriff is done and is heading for Zeromus, which means I think there's a question we need to ask.
Is there? Oh, what question would that be?
I think it has to do with those Z question mark flags.
Never heard of it. Can you refresh my memory?
I believe it's whose butt are we going to kick?
That might sound a bit familiar, but yeah. No, I still haven't got anything. But yeah, here comes the Zeromus fight. We don't randomize this fight. It's the final boss of Final Fantasy IV. It's difficult in for a lot of things going forward. We don't want to make it anywhere else. So all we've done is, or all our creators have done, is change it up a little bit in who you're fighting. It's not normally plain old Zeromus. When you throw the crystal, you can see a lot of things. There's over 450 sprites. Which one is it going to be today?
Whose posterior will prove inferior?
The answer is Gygus from Earthbound.
Alright. I've never actually played Earthbound.
Yeah, this is one of the in terms of a final boss, this is, in a lot of people's opinions, one of the most horrifying and one of the most controversial final boss is in the game, in the world of games. But it's a perfect sprite for our Zeromus. We get to beat it up with with crystal swords and a whole lot of other things.
You know, I read once that in Earthbound, for a anti-piracy protection, they made it so that the game would be harder if it detected you were playing it on a pirated copy, and then when you got to Gygus, the game would hard lock, and then when you reset, all your save files would be gone.
That sounds like something someone would do.
But
those big bangs are coming out fast and furious, though. Rosa and Teller have gone down. Huh. This might be more dangerous than we were thinking for Crystal Sword Cecil team.
yeah, he's just using Berserk strats, so he's not nerfing any of those big bangs. So they're coming out pretty big.
And with no white mages really happening now, one more big bang will finish this fight night in favor of Zeromus or Gygasmus.
But looking quickly on the other side, Revenant has gotten his Darkness Crystal and will be heading to the moon shortly.
Has picked up Rosa, There has been a shake though, so this is going to be close to get that Cure 4 out.
Oh, and there it is.
That is close. It's Sid can survive another full power Big Bang. The other ones, everyone else is sort of touch and go. So Cecil may, Rosa and Kane won't.
It'll depend on the rolls for some of them. Oh, or there'll be another Cure 4.
That secures this. Cecil now is full health. He can survive a full power Big Bang, and Kane mostly can as well. As long as Cecil survives, and I think he's fairly close to the end of this. Yeah, everyone's still alive. I've another Cure 4 from Rosa, and this fight is pretty much in the bag if it doesn't end sooner.
Looks like he's going to use a safety Cure 3 on Rosa first.
Yeah. You don't mind seeing those black holes because you know that Cecil and Kane aren't affected by them. Yeah, they're going to have one round of not doing full power attacks, but on the second round they'll be back up to full and more than happy to slice and dice.
As long as he can keep up this cure chain after all the big bangs, he should be.
Yeah, here comes Rox.
Yep.
With the amount of hit points that he got left, and Rosa dodging that one completely. One more swing from Cecil.
And
No. One more swing from Kane. No.
Revenant turns down the Rosa.
There we go.
Yeah.
Took a little bit longer after that first that meteor, but dustygriff has won. He has gone 3-0 in a time of 1 hour, 34 minutes and 25 seconds.
GG's.
And we are going to see if he's wanting to come in for an interview and see what he felt about that seed after seeing a very early game objectives, but a bit of a rude awakening in that Mom-Bum fight holding the Darkness Crystal.
Yeah, that was rude from the game.
Revenant though, beelining down, has their levels. Who's going to be heading into the Zeromus fight very shortly. They doesn't have the same sort of agility issues that dustygriff had, but still may the Zeromus fight isn't easy, so it may have a few issues. But we are now joined by dustygriff. Congratulations on going 3-0.
Congrats.
Thank
So the objectives looked very quick, didn't they, at the start?
you. Yeah, it was a bit of was a bit of something that led us on a little bit there to believe that it was going to be a faster seed than an hour and a half or longer. But here we are, I guess.
Yeah, that Mom-Bomb, you never want to see it in that particular spot, do you? Even with a fairly well-geared Cecil like you had.
Yeah, like if I was thinking about this after. It's not very often that I would go for a package Cecil half an hour into a seed, but after I ditched 2 other Cecils, the seed kind of made me. That Mom-Bomb I may have been tempted to try earlier had I had an Anchor Cecil, which I mean the seed was filled with curse rings and stuff too, but just after I ditched those first 2 Cecils, the seed said, you had your chance. Now, if you want to get that Cecil, you have to go back to package and get it. But yeah, it was quite the interesting choices to be made in that one.
Yeah, you browsed that package to see who it was, and knowing that, Cecil, if you hadn't checked that package, you likely wouldn't have gone back to pick him up, would you?
No, yeah,
No.
probably not. Yeah.
But yeah, throughout that whole thing, like, just you get those you get all those objectives done so fast, and then it's like an hour-long race to find where the Zeromus access is.
Yeah, and I mean that always feels scary. Once once it was coming down to being Mom Bomb, I didn't feel so bad. But what really felt bad to me was the ditching 2 Cecils and finding the Crystal Sword, because I knew that if Revenant had picked up 2 Cecils, or even one of them, without going to package and got that Crystal Sword and went with it, then he would have had a lot faster of a time. Like, I mean, I think I was pretty happy with picking up Cecil for. I wasn't happy about it at the time, but I kind of thought I had to do it because I knew a Crystal Sword would just push me through the seed so fast. But yeah, when I got through, obviously getting the crystal around 40 minutes in, or however long it was, and then just another 40 minutes of clearing spots and not really finding much of anything. Saying, well, this is interesting.
Yeah, I sort of brought it up in the middle though, but you had a fairly decent team without the Cecil. Without Crystal Sword Cecil. You had Avenger Kane, you had Sid, who was with an Artemis bow, you had Porum for the first part, which isn't bad, and then Rosa later, and the Teller for a bit of utility. But everything sort of just went to the wayside because you had that Crystal Sword Cecil. How do you feel he outweighs everything else just with that one item?
The main thing for me was once I saw Crystal Sword from Fabul, and I knew it was Mylon or Mylon C on the hook route, which isn't hard. Neither of them are terribly hard. They're doable for the team I already had. I just knew it would already be worth the time investment just for that part of the run alone to go get that Cecil and go through the hook route with him. After the fact, I was thinking about maybe replacing him once I got to Moon and making Teller my anchor, because I mean, I'm really used to a Zeromus fight where I can make everyone RA1 and anchor appropriately and all that stuff. I really dislike having to go work around Cecil, even though the 28 plus agility, I think I had him around 29 or 30. Works out perfectly fine. It still gets feels like a little less controllers in my hands when that is the way it is. So I was thinking, especially near the end, just going, hey, let's just get rid of the Cecil, take Rosa, and keep the rest of the players I have. But I mean, it worked out okay. So I was okay with it.
It definitely looked that way, because you did seem to have a little bit of an issue with how the Zeromus fight happened, with Rosa going down as well as Teller, and you sort of having to scramble a little bit to get those Cure 4s out in the end.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen. Actually, the error I made in the Zeromus fight was that I zerked Sid early on, because he has enough HP to live, and I really could have taken Rosa just up the Cure 4 and went with it. But I went a little safer than I was kind of expecting to. And then made a bit of that issue in the Zeromus fight. Recovered fine enough from it, but yeah, that kind of came back to bite me a tiny bit. Had it been not for that, I would think it would have been okay. But that made the fight a little dicier than it needed to be. And I saw that Invenerable pointed out in chat, rightly so, that I did input an action suddenly on the Kane to get the Avenger stats during the fight. So props to him for noticing that very small thing that I did in the fight.
That's easy to do, though. If you're concentrating so much on a lot of things in the Zeromus fight, it's easy to miss one or two small issues.
Yeah, for sure.
So 3-0, you're now into the table stage. Do you feel that you got you were expecting to get there? Do you feel that it was a little bit more difficult than you expected?
I'd say, I mean, I practice a lot. I put a lot of work into trying to get better on this flag set and be happy with my performance and all that. I'd say the other thing is this flag set can be a bit swingy sometimes in terms of fast go modes and spots just holding everything behind it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with my performance. I think I've got a lot of work cut out for me moving forward. I've already had enough work cut out for me moving up to this point because no one that I've raced against has been a slouch at all. Revenant's been great. Everyone else in the group has fantastic opponents to race against, and yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what's up in the table round.
Yeah, the flag set there is very different to what we've got at the moment, and so. How long before you start practicing that, or are you already?
I've played a few flags, a few seeds of it, but I'll probably start going pretty hard into the practice maybe in the next couple of days. Take a small break away from FE for a second, probably, but probably a couple
days. Okay. Do you have any other questions for him, Dijon?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Any last thoughts before we let you go and recover from that?
Yeah, going to need to just thank you all for commentating. Thank you, Poidrac and Dijon, and thank Elsa for doing the restream and Sheep Launcher for doing the tracking. And yeah, appreciate it. And GG's to Revenant as well.
Thank you for being showcased today.
See you, folks.
Bye.
So, while that was happening, we seem to have had another finish.
Yeah.
Yes, Revenant has finished with a time of 1 hour 43 minutes and 27 seconds. I do believe they've just joined us. Crystal Sword. Selling it.
Well,
Power to you. So, I saw that you mentioned that you faded it for too long. If you had got that earlier, would you have kept Cecil's?
if I went there after I knew what was waiting in the King of Monsters spot, I definitely would have taken a Cecil, but that late in the game, or if it was really early in the game, I probably might have very well sold it.
It is a very good source of money, after all. So, the objectives looked quick, but they weren't exactly they showing the hidden danger of that seed, were they?
Oh, definitely not. I mean, you never want to see it when you're up against a player you know has a lot more experience than you, and you have this objective set that's like completely on rails, and it starts out go go go. So I just constantly playing like I feel like I'm 5 minutes behind, and then of course you get to the Underworld, and then suddenly it's all open up. You're looking for that darkness crystal, and there's so many checks open.
Yeah, and then there was that one like chain that kind of just led you off course towards the Cave Magnus.
Yeah, I figured it would be a preferable check, like take me less time than leveling up in order to take on that mom bomb. But then I see the blue robe there. I'm thinking, oh, please, please, please be Water Hag, but nope.
And then you get the Bahamut.
Yeah, that was not a happy pickup there.
So, although you haven't won today, you're still going into the a magma route with a 2-1 record. Do you feel that you've done better than you expected, or do you feel that this is where you expected to be all along?
I think this match was kind of the one that I was sort of anticipating the most because I mean it's no secret dustygriff is one of the best players of this game out there, and so this was kind of a chance to kind of see where I measure up against that level of talent. And I'm pretty happy with finishing within 9 minutes of him. Here he last location the Darkness Crystal too, and I think the longer I go on in a match like this, the wider the time's going to get because he's just going to end up doing everything just a little bit better than I do.
Yeah. dustygriff is a very good opponent, and he came into this as the seed for a very good reason with his performance in the football gauntlet. You really want to test your might up against him, but you're not expecting a whole lot until hopefully you get to the victory from him. But not happening today. Are you looking forward to going through the magma to get a bit more runs in before hopefully going through to that table phase if things go right for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of scary good runners that ended up in the magma pool, but I mean, I think I'm obviously going to watch this match side by side and kind of look for ways I can improve my game and hopefully be able to lock horns with the best of the best.
Well, you definitely put up a heck of a fight.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, do you have any last thoughts about the seed before we let you go and prepare for what's coming up next?
Well, I think seeds like this, where you kind of have to go by the seat of your pants and sort of scavenge what you can and go up with a plan as you go along, they're definitely fun in casual play, but they're terrifying when you get them in one of these races.
Yeah, I completely agree there. You are all these types of seeds test you a whole lot more mentally than most people give it credit for, or because your mind's going a mile a minute. Are you doing the same checks as your opponent? Are you a little bit behind them? Are you a little bit in front of them? And did I miss something that they found? Did they find an item which is more powerful than the one I just found? It plays on your mind a whole lot through this type of race and can be very stressful. So, yeah, but definitely well done for racing today. You played this seed very well. I'll look forward to seeing you in the magma route, and we'll see what happens from there.
Thank you very much.
So I do believe we've just had a race, Dijon. I think
I believe that does qualify as a race. Yes.
Yes, it does. So I do want to thank Alicil for restreaming today, a Sheep Launcher for tracking, doing an amazing job on tracking. Dijon for being my co-commentator today. Please give everyone a follow if you wish to. Both the runners, the Restream team, they do an amazing job for everyone. And you can forget about me. I'm just the odd one out here. Definitely the weakest link. So I'm going to go goodbye. But we are going to be dropping everyone off onto the Randomania channel, where there's another Highway to the Threemus Zone race going on at this moment in time.
What, there's more of this?
Yeah, there is. However,
Ow.
Please do not spoil this race. There are people who are watching that one that haven't seen this one, and we will be monitoring that closely. So please do not spoil this race. They may want to watch it later. Otherwise, have fun watching more Free Enterprise, and we'll be back with you on the RPG Limit Break channel as well very soon.
Good night, everybody. Or day, if it's day where you are.